Hello, in this video I want to explain to you how the touchscreen control system works in Flowcode 11. Let's just look at the hardware and how it works first so you can see what's going on. Here I've got an Arduino development system on the E-blocks. I've got a display board, upstream board and a number of downstream boards, and we're just going to be using the display here. And if I press the reset switch, you can see how the program starts. So I've got on this display a little slider, and you can have various types of sliders and you can control the colors. And the slider basically is controlling a variable which is being displayed in the text box there. And I've also got a couple of on-screen buttons. So I've got an up button where we can increase whatever quantity it is we're controlling, and the down button so we can decrease the quantity. And there's a text field that says go to screen 1, and if you click on that we go to screen 1, and correspondingly there's another text field that allows us to go back to screen 0. So it's quite a simple program, simple graphics, but it shows you the principles of how touchscreens are controlled. So let's see now how you implement that program using Flowcode. So this is Flowcode. On the panel I've got a touchscreen display, and it's got various properties, dimensions, connections, fonts and some simulation properties. And to it I've attached a graphical display manager, again with properties, and crucially it has two scenes, and the scenes and all the objects on those scenes are controlled by the display manager component. So on scene 0 I've got a text field which is acting as a button, a slider, up and down buttons and a number field. On scene 0 I've just got a single text field. Now each of the components that we drag onto the scenes from the primitives library here has the ability to have a touchable property. In this case we said that go to screen 0 is touchable, and it uses what we call a callback function. So when it's touched, it basically looks at the macro DC touched and it passes the handle go to screen 0, the name of that button. Let me show you the DC touched macro. So when that button is touched, this macro is called. It's a switch statement with the handle go to screen 0, and so basically when the button is touched it goes down this path and it issues a command which is display manager draw scene 0. So you can see how we are invoking one screen then the other. Let's just look at the up button. The up button also calls DC touched with the handle up, and in this case we go down this path where the variable value is increased by 1, and then we update the value display, which is that field there, value display, with the number value. So what we've done in this case, it's a simple touchscreen system. There's only one switch statement and one macro for handling these, and each of the items on the scenes has its own path which causes events to happen just as you've programmed them. So that's looked at how the actual individual touches are controlled. The program itself has one more thing that you need to understand. This is the entire program. We initialize the display and the display manager, and we draw scene 0, this scene here. And then in this endless loop, what we do is we issue a hardware macro call where we're testing for a touch. We issue the touch check macro. If it is touched, we set the variables x and y to the coordinates of the touch, and then we issue a call to the display manager to check for the touch at x and y, and that allows it to invoke the callback macro with the appropriate handle, because it knows whereabouts on the touchscreen each of the items is. And then there's an endless loop where we're just going round and round. So that shows you that it's possible to build quite complex touchscreen systems using this callback feature, and hopefully in a way that's not too difficult to implement. And we've implemented very simple graphics here so you can see how things work, but as you'll see later, you can actually make quite complex and quite feature rich and graphically rich screens just from those primitives. Okay, thank you for watching.